Welcome to the Primitive Lifeways channel. In today's video, I want to cover a snare that sits right in front of me. This is called the L7 spring snare, or commonly referred to as a twitch-up snare. So stick around, we got a great show coming up. Alright folks, so I want to welcome you back. As you can see, our snare system is set up, it's live, and it's ready to go. And this is one of those snares that's easy to make. It's been proven to be effective, and it doesn't have a lot of moving parts. This thing also has the advantage because the animal is lifted off the ground, therefore it's much harder to chew through the natural vegetable fiber or even the synthetic material. Once it's above ground and it starts moving around, that snare just becomes tighter and tighter and tighter, therefore choking the animal out. So we have our pine sapling here. It's been trimmed up, so it's going to become much faster upon release. We have 36 bank line attached to that sapling, leading down to our trigger mechanism. Our trigger mechanism is locked into place to our post stick that's driven into the earth, and then we also have our snare loop. So the idea of this trap is to have this on an animal highway. Any signs of game animal activity, even better. So the animal comes in, it feels it gets stuck in this loop, so its instant reaction is to jerk away. Once it jerks away, that snare becomes tight, and then it suspends itself. So I'll show you how this works, and then we'll get into carving the trap out. And that is our L7 spring snare. So let's go ahead and start carving it right now. Now the first thing I'm going to carve out is my post stick. And this post stick, I want it of a hard wood, preferably. Soft wood tends to crack once we drive it into the ground. So a nice hard oak, mahogany, creosote will do it. Maple, hickory, those are the materials that I'm really looking for. And out here we have a lot of oak and mahogany. As you can see, I'm surrounded by oak. So what I'll do is I'll just take my knife, and I just want to remove a bit of material on the bottom, much like a tent stake. So we're just going to point this off. And then we'll create a notch up top. Now my bottom post stick, I usually measure it to be about a foot, sometimes a foot and a half, depending on soil conditions. And that's one thing also to keep in consideration with this trap system. With soft soil, this can be a bit difficult. Okay, so you can see we have it pointed off on the bottom. That'll be the end that drives down into the earth. And then I usually go about a ½ inch from the top of the stake, and I just want to create a notch. So I'll score a line, and I'll just remove material. All right, so our post stick is now complete. You can see we have this tapered on the bottom, notched out up top. So we'll move on to our trigger mechanism. All right, so what I want to do with this trigger mechanism is cut a notch identical to the notch I carved in this post stick. And then I'll score 2 grooves, one up top, one in the middle of this trigger mechanism. The top groove will hold our string onto the sapling. The groove in the middle will hold our snare. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then I'll show you how this looks. So here's our trigger mechanism complete. You can see we have this top grooved out with our main line attached. We have another groove below that with our snare, a slip knot tied at the end, and then our bottom notched out. So this trap will be held into place just like this. And at this point, I'm going to set this thing up and we'll release it yet again. So the first thing you want to do when setting up this snare system is drive your post stick into the ground. I use the back of a hatchet and I tap on it real slow. And then I'll take my main line, attach it to the sapling, and you can see that this now has a lot of tension on it. So I want to now show you how to lock this into place. So when I set the snare up, I'm standing over to the side and keeping my face out of the way from all components. I'll grab the trigger mechanism and I'll lock this into place. Just like that. And now that we have it locked into place, I'll grab a twig that has a Y in it and I'll prop this snare up a bit. So we'll plant that in the ground. And our trap is set. Once again, the idea is to have this on a game trail. The animal goes in, feels it's stuck. Its reaction is to jerk out. When it jerks out, you can see what happens. That noose is really tight and the animal is dangling above the ground. All right, folks, so that's just about going to wrap this one up. I'm going to get my headgear on and set up a few more of these traps in the field. So with that, I do appreciate you joining me for this video. I'm Jeff with PrimitiveLifeways.com. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.